Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the fourth episode of CSI Almighty original podcast, Tech Experience, debugging real life errors. And we, CSI Council, wish you a very happy new year. Myself, Shubhika Dev, the sponsorship head of the CSI Almighty, along with my co host and host, Ms. Aishwarya Doke, the treasurer and membership head of the CSI Almighty. We have already released our three episodes of Tech Experience, so do check it out. So, for the fourth episode, A Decade in the IT Industry, it's all about the IT industry, its works, and its experience.
So today's guest is someone special. She was a student of UMIT and now an alumni. She has completed 10 years, that is a decade in the IT industry. Let's welcome Shruti Pandey, a techie who is a solutions engineer, a full stack developer, automation and QA enthusiast. With 8 years of QA automation expertise, creating frameworks, 2 years and still being a solutions engineer, working in MNCs and banks, we have so much to learn and hear from Shruti Pandey. We are excited to have her with us for our fourth episode. Welcome, Shruti Di. We are glad to have you with us for our fourth episode.
Welcome, T.
Hi. Thank you for having me, Shuvika and Aishwarya. Thank you.
We are glad to have you with us. So, we have created a set of questions for you. So, let's begin with that. So, moving on to the first question. Now, since you're alumni of the UMIT, and we would love to hear your our 4 year BTech experience, how it was, and your college life, and all the activities you have done.
Absolutely. This is such a great question. I don't know about my college life per se, but I genuinely know I was very scared when I was getting into a women's college. Before that, I was never in a all women's kind of a setup. I am pretty sure it would be the case with most of us. But I think after my 4 years or during the 4 years, my entire perspective of a all women's university changed very dramatically because. I think not just our schools, but even our homes, right? We are Indians. The way we are brought up with respect to, oh, तुम लड़की हो, ये कर सकती हो, ये नहीं कर सकती हो, यहाँ जा सकती हो. I think all of that changes when you come to UMIT, right? And that exactly happened with me. And I guess I had some confidence in me before, but I never had the platform to show that confidence or own things up and get things done like you guys are doing today, right? So I think getting into UMIT was the best thing that happened to me. And if I get a chance to go back in time, I'll still choose UMIT. I didn't choose it that time, but this time I would definitely choose.
Absolutely, we believe that. And actually, we relate to this because we have so much exposure to many things, and we kind of relate. So, like, it's a really good experience. The how we thought in FY that why we are coming in an all girls college and it wouldn't be one fun, but versus how it is, it's really good.
Yeah, so my father was very happy, to send me to a girls' college. He wanted me to do engineering, and he was very happy कि बेटी in लड़की in girls' college में जाएगी. He was very happy about it, but I think I'm not sure when this remote thing will get over. But the best things and the best part of a women's college is the DJ parties and the dance that we have. That's the
Yes.
best because you can literally dance like nobody is watching you and you don't have to be afraid of anything. So, of all the things, that is also one of my best part, which I still remember and miss about UMIT.
Shruti,
Yes,
I'm pretty sure like everyone had a second thought before joining UMIT, it being a girls' college. But you know what? The scenes were quite opposite at my house. My parents, in fact, warned me, "Ki, Aishwarya, think about it. It's a women's college. Will you do that?" I am like, "Yeah, I'll do that." So I must say, it was like a second thought to me. I was not sure whether I wanted to join it or not, but I too don't regret. And as you said, the even I would choose UMIT again.
absolutely. Same. Okay. Moving
So
on to the next
moving
question.
on
Aishwarya.
to moving on to the next question. So you have completed a decade in the IT industry. Congratulations for that. And
Congratulations, it's very huge.
I
yeah,
need a pat and back. My God, 10 years.
so the how would you
To make me
describe?
feel old, is it? You want to make me feel old?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it?
Yeah.
10 years.
So, how would you describe your 10 years in the industry, right from college placements till date?
Oh my God. What kind of questions have you guys created for me? Seriously. Uh, Again, this is a great question. Oh, shikes. I mean, I literally had a flashback of all the different places I've worked. And again, being a girl, I know this is going to sound a very girly reply for all the UMIT girls, and they'll be like, "Itna girly kyun ho, Didi?" But I come from a typical North Indian family. Yes, I'm born and raised in Mumbai, but I was raised to be the perfect daughter, or maybe an ideal daughter-in-law or something. The that's the KPI or OKR. That's what we call in our corporate world. Like what expectations and performance ratios or metrics are supposed to meet. So maybe I was raised in such a way. I wanted to be a doctor, gynecologist to be precise, but my dad wanted to me to be an engineer. So when I think about 10 years, I myself cannot imagine that I've become an engineer and I completed 10 years, because it just went by in a eye blink. Like I completed my engineering, the time went so fast. I would really give you an advice: make the best out of this time, because these 4 years really fly, and make the most. There's so much to do. Um, and after that, when I got my first job at Infosys, after that, there was just no looking back. I know there is one amazing line in Eat, Pray, Love, which is a book by Elizabeth. So she mentions that she just kept hopping all her life from one relationship to another. And when I read that, or when I watch that movie, I always think that I was hopping from one job to another. I've done nothing else. But looking back at 10 years, I just realized I have a lot of experience with a lot of different things that I was doing. Any sane person would not have made the jumps and switches like I have made, but I think I just went with my passion and my calling and what made me happy. So from one place to another, if everybody gets a lot of opportunities, at our time the money was comparatively less to yours, but it's all about your calling. And if you are passionate about doing what you're doing, it's not about being perfect or perfectionist, but if you enjoy what you're doing, you will make those leaps, jumps, or maybe in the same place for that matter. It doesn't have to be in different places, but it's all about the exposure. So, like for me, one place I was in telecom, then I was in insurance, then banking, and this and that domain. So it just kept happening for me. Touch wood, I feel lucky and grateful for that. So, otherwise, my plan was to do an MBA. I think that would also be something very cliched. I had thought after 2 years I would get into an MBA, but never went back to books again.
But it's really amazing, and it seems like you explored all sort of domains as much as you could in this 10 years. I'm pretty sure you have so much to explore ahead as well. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
It just feels like I agree with the point that we have to live our life fullest. If I look back, I feel I was in first year and today we are in third year, right? So the time went like just like that. You don't feel and you need to
Yes.
live the fullest. So you will keep in mind and follow your advice for that.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. So moving for the third question, the tech field is a field where an individual has to keep oneself updated with all the recent technologies, since there is a recent update and it's quite often as well. So what's your take about the differences between the work culture back then when you get placed and now?
I mean, yes, definitely you are supposed to keep yourself updated all the time. And we are in a technology, IT, CS, whatever world, if we were to say in computer science, everything is changing. Like from rupees, currencies, dollars, we have now come to crypto. Who would have
Yeah.
thought of something like that, right? So there are so many changes, not just with respect to our learnings, but also our earnings. And if we don't keep ourselves updated, we are outdated is how I look at it. But at the end of the day, we all are humans. Culture doesn't change much. Everything is going to be very similar. So with respect to how we find people at our homes, to how we would find our peers really in college, right? Like your classmates and team members, etc. the intensity would vary, but humans at the end of the day remain humans. The slightest change that has happened with respect to the entire landscape is the startups coming in, which has made everything a very hustle mode, rocket ship, and all of that. So it is even more of a grueling scenario with respect to, because now everybody is just working 24/7. Not that we weren't putting much effort when I started off, but thanks to the work from home and thanks to the startup world and everything becoming global, that's the difference or the transparency. Because when I started off, so it used to be like I'm working in a XYZ MNC and I have a project coordinator who is in US, so I don't have a transparency with respect to who my client is and does he know that Shruti has done such a phenomenal job for him or her. But now there is so much of transparency, now there is so much of hustling, there's so much of the rocket ship mode of startups. So I think that has changed. Otherwise, everything is still human. I think politics would still remain, biasness would still remain. So all of those things, I don't think are going anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, startup has changed and pandemic has changed a lot.
Yeah, surely it has.
Now
You
let's
mentioned
take
about the
a
startup thing. So, what would you like? Have you given a thought about the startup thing or not? Like, you felt like trying something that way or anything related to startups? Yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
random question.
no, I mean, I've been a part of two startups already.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking, or am I getting your question
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah, it's right. Right. You can just have your view about the startups. Maybe you're working with one or anything.
So yeah, I mean, after my tenure with MNCs, I don't know. I think two is a number for me. I worked with two MNCs, then I worked with two banks, and now I work with two startups. It's so weird. Thank you for highlighting that for me. So I've been with two startups now, and I think the work is really, I mean, not me actually, is I've been a workaholic. I don't know how to work smart. I don't know how to go about doing. I know this is going to be such a blunder maybe for me if I'm answering this way, but I have to be honest, right? I don't know how
Yeah.
to, still don't know how to do office politics and all of that. I prefer that the work I do will show or talk about it. But I think. Again, we need to talk about it, otherwise there are a lot of other people who would just take your credit away. So it's about doing your thing. It doesn't matter if it's a startup or it's not a startup, but in startup you get to learn a lot, like literally learn a lot, because you might be hired for a single position and then you end up doing the job of at least five other people or different roles. And again, thank you for asking me such random and great question, because when I look back, not just the startup, before the startup, my pre-startup phase, I still was doing all of that,
Yes.
in the phases I was. So I was not just a QA. I was not just doing manual testing. I think I've never only done manual testing. I was into automation space. So I'm creating frameworks. I'm creating reconciliation tools in Pentaho and stuff like that to do something more. I was a T-shaped developer, which means that I am not just the automation expert in the team, but I also take up roles like a BA, business analyst, or I also sit with my developers and I'm doing coding as a Java Spring developer. And nobody had taught me, but I was just doing these stuff. So thank you for that great question, because even before getting into a startup, I was still doing all of that. So I all of that really trained me to do all of this in startup now, right? Because I don't feel overwhelmed anymore. Any other person would feel, oh my god, I just have to do this, or how many more buckets and hats am I supposed to wear, really? But I think my career was just shaping me for something like this. You guys are
yeah,
lucky. In college you get so many more things. In college we also got so many more things, but these days I hear kids uh, start their own startup in colleges and stuff like that, which is insane. Which is insane. So yeah, I think
that's
we have a lot of hopes from you guys.
let's see. We are really scared. Like, what will be the next? And we're
Okay,
just living in the
on that,
present.
Shubhika, maybe I'm extending. I'm sorry on this answer, but I'll tell you one thing. Don't be scared right now, because this is the time you should not be scared. Even if you fall, even if you fly, there is no such concern. This is the best time. I created a third year project, which was on e-defense services, which meant that we provide dabbas to people who come in Mumbai. The entire portal, entire thing, we even thought of making it online delivery model. This I'm talking back in 2008, 2009, and it's my biggest regret of life, because there
Yeah.
was no Zomato, Swiggy back then.
Yes, Zomato and
It was
Swiggy now.
Zomato and
Right,
Swiggy.
right.
Yeah,
There was
Yeah.
no Zomato, Swiggy
Zomato and
back
Swiggy.
then. I created this as a third year project. Our ma'ams literally pushed me to pursue this as a final year project, make it live, but I did not. That mentality of middle class, and how I'll get the money, server kaise host hoga, ye kaise hoga, wo kaise hoga. I was such a fool. When I look back now, that's the biggest regret of my life. I would have been somewhere else today. So don't hesitate. Don't think of failure, or don't feel scared at all right now. Do what you feel like doing, because you never know. Maybe some years down the line, I'll be taking your interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hope you do. That would be like the best thing ever happened to me. And I'm right now feeling so much motivated with your words. So really thank you for that. And calming myself. I'm really happy to have you as my senior.
You guys are all my sisters and my kids and buddies. You're
Yeah.
my Mina, so that's the least I should be doing.
So let's move to our next question then. So we all know that developers use GitHub and it's vital. We would like to know about the importance of Git and GitHub then and now, and why should everyone, especially beginners, should get familiar with it.
My God, ये सारे questions कहाँ से लाए तुम लोगों ने? Yeah, again, so when I was working in these different places, the MNCs and banks I talked about, the Git profile that we were given, or the GitHub profile we were given, was very important, because think about it, you are multiple people working on the same team. You could be a developer, you could be a tester, you could be a DevOps, etc., any role, right? But all of them are supposed to put their code or merge their code somewhere. So these tools or versioning mechanisms really help in that way. But what I've seen really in the years, like in the recent times, and again, I think it's one of my biggest regret in the corporate life, because I might have created a Taj Mahal of a code, but I can't take it out because the banks would not let me carry my Git handle outside, right? And
Yeah.
now these days, not just your resume, but whatever project you might have created. I mean, we didn't use something like that in my third year or fourth year project, right? Which could have saved something for me or after that. So it is so important, because even when you're applying for jobs, most of the people are like, can you attach your GitHub profile or something like that? So I would highly encourage you, even if you think you're creating a shitty code, might as well put it on Git. You would get a habit of it, right? You'll get a
Yeah.
knack of it as to how to use it. So it's very important. That's a regret of mine in the corporate world, because all my code is like not with me, and I can't show it to world, because I'm like, I've created a lot many things, but there comes the NDA and client confidentiality, right? So I wouldn't have copied my thing, but I could have maintained a repository for myself, right? Which would have said, oh, Shruti created all of that.
Yeah.
So please start creating that, or start using it, so that you understand how to use it. And it's like your resume really these days. Very
Absolutely.
important, not just for developers, but for anybody who thinks about writing any code.
That's way a different way how we see it. So like,
Yeah. So Shubhika and I have to start using.
like we
Well,
use for ourselves, we used to search like, okay, this would be help us. It's like a mini stack flow for us. Git and GitHub.
yeah, but I know, I think, did I scare you or something like that? No, it's really important. I mean, sometimes I wonder if somebody would have told me about this, and if I would have just preserved my code, because as coders, whatever kind of coders we become, developer, tester, this, that, different type of personas and profile, this is what stays with us, right? And you might write
Yeah.
everything on resume, and we still do, but I think with everything changing at such a rapid pace, this is going to be so important. Like, people talk about, I see, like, what, 5 star on this profile, this hacker rank, and that,
Yeah.
and this. How many of them? Like, seriously, sometimes I get overwhelmed looking at it. I'm like, ये क्या हो रहा है मार्केट में क्या चल रहा है? So might as well protect yourself with something as simple as this, right?
Yeah, we get your point. Okay, shall we move to the next question?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the what challenges were faced by you and how did you overcome them? Also, is there any particular advice you would like to give the juniors?
Challenges as in of, are you talking about my work wise, or like what challenges? Sorry.
Like how you overcome you like if you're given a certain code and how you overcome it, like how to handle a certain piece of code.
Okay. I think this is going to be the top question, right? All of us are nervous. You, I, everybody. And trust me, when I'm not sure if it is still the case, I think it is still the case, because whatever we learn or see in college is never enough. And when we go out in the corporate world, it's like really testing the real water, and it's very different. So you might have done everything, you might have copied codes, you don't know what are the kind of things people do in college, right? All random shit that we do. I'm sorry I said shit, but yeah, I think that's what everybody does, right? Okay, did it work for you? Can you help? Or stuff like that. I remember a lot of us did couple of things back then, and I'm being too vocal about it. But when you get into office, it's like a real time scenario. And I have had seniors, I'm not sure if I'm being sarcastic or just blunt honest, who would just tell me like, Shruti, this is what it is, this is what you're supposed to do. And I would ask them like, is there a Jira? Is there a documentation? Is there a Confluence which I can refer to as to what are the steps to do this? And at that time, and this is, I'm talking about like really early in my career. And I used to feel very sad, like, why are they not letting me know how exactly to do this kind of a thing, right? Or what I'm supposed to do as a task. In fact, I still remember like my first project, the guy gave me the entire KT, knowledge transfer, in a day, in hardly a couple of hours. And I was like, हो गया. He's like, now you're supposed to start working. So that time I used to feel, why are they so mean to me? Like, why are they not helping me? Why are they not guiding me? So when I grow old, I want to be that kind of senior, which I never had. But trust me, while I used to feel very scared, like why they did such a thing to me, I feel very blessed, because when you learn something yourself by drowning or by falling off the cliff or whatever way, you learn it the best, because you learn so much more. And then when you go back, you are like, no, sir, इससे भी easy तरीका है. I can show you how
Yeah.
to do it. That's the best feeling, because somebody just gave you something and didn't give you the directions. Like, he's like, from X to Y, you're supposed to go, but doesn't give you any direction. So you're like, how am I supposed to go to a Paris from Mumbai? I don't know. So I think I really feel blessed that they didn't teach me or didn't spoon feed me, because yeah, I learned a lot because of that.
So that's
It
when your
is
critical
scary.
thinking helps.
It is very scary, and I definitely don't aspire to do that to my juniors, because when you have been in that place, you know how it feels.
Yes.
So I don't want to scare anything out of them. I try to be their buddy and mentor and everything. But I know how we have sailed, or how I have sailed, and how difficult it could be. It is a challenge. It's not easy. Do you
It
think we should stop and reconnect, because this would go?
It
पीछे
would.
का है?
हाँ, वो 40 minutes extend हो गया, so we can continue.
हो गया क्या?
हाँ.
We can continue. Yeah.
ओके. सॉरी, अगर बहुत लॉन्ग आंसर्स हो रहे होंगे, प्लीज काट देना.
नहीं, it's okay. It's
नहीं,
going
नहीं.
fine.
हाँ.
Okay.
So, like, can I add one thing into that previous answer? So, I feel it works like your overall personality change since it helps critical thinking. Since you worked by yourself and you took no help, there was no answers on Google. You cannot search anywhere and you cannot look to it. And that's how you are. Like, if you haven't worked back then, I don't feel that that's the same experience to various MNCs, to banks, and to startups
Thank you.
would be there for you.
Yeah, thank you. You reminded me of something because I think this is something we had as a conversation, right? So back then, I'm sure it happens even now, but again, remote has changed everything. So we used to sit in ODCs, which is called as Offshore Development Center. So if I'm working for a XYZ client within a MNC, I would be given a premises, or I would be given a network where I can't Google everything. I can't open any particular site. So not just about most help, I've worked for banks, so I just can't download any tool or any open source. I have to get a access, I have to get a permission, and then like a simple thing like a Java JDK 1.8, I need to get access to get that on my system. So it sounds very primitive, but even all those things have happened, like not being able to Google search, not being able to carry my code from one place to another. It seems like not just a 10 years leap, but like a many years sleep, because suddenly it has like fast forwarded into modern era. Thank
It,
you. Thank you, reminded me of that, Shubhika. Exactly.
no worries. Okay. That's a really great experience, and we will really keep in this mind. Like, we need to really focus on our skills rather than just brushing up. Like,
Sure.
so, Aishwarya.
Uh, so now that we are talking all about creating stuff right from you using your own brains to create things and all. So I would like to ask you that you have worked with MNCs and banks, and now that you have mentioned that you can't Google things, but you said that you have created frameworks from scratch. So we would like to know about what a framework is, how to use it, and what was your experience with it, like right from basics.
Okay. So again, I basically tried to use whatever knowledge I was gaining or creating for myself throughout the journey. I created my first framework when I was at JP Morgan. Before that, whichever team I was joining, they had something or the other, and I was supposed to build something on top of it. So it's like you're given a house and you create more of interior decoration and stuff like that. But any developer or anybody who has done IT or CS wants to do something from scratch. It's like one of our biggest wish, right? That I want to create something from scratch. That happened for me at JP. And by that time, I had about like more than 3 years of experience or something. So when I was asked to create something as an individual contributor, again, I will not bluff here. I was scared. I was very happy to take the opportunity, but I was scared. Let's normalize it. I was nervous. I was
Yeah.
scared because there is no help, like we talked about the challenges. There is nobody to guide you. You're given a problem statement and you're supposed to create something. So I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions when I'm working, because I think it simplifies what we are creating. So I asked, what am I supposed to create? Do you want me to create in any particular language, anything? And my senior, or whoever was my subordinate, whatever you may want to call him, he told me that you choose anything, we are fine by anything, but I just want this problem to be solved. So that made it easier for me. So in my previous two places, I had a hang of frameworks like Auto IT and Robot framework. So I had seen different frameworks. In the second place, I had seen Java and Selenium. In the third place, when I was asked to create framework, I just try to understand what I should be using for myself, what would be easier and what would solve the problem. So how we created a best out of waste in our school and colleges, I just thought how best I can solve this problem. So I created a framework from scratch using Java, Selenium, Cucumber, because I was supposed to automate a banking application, you may say. So I just used all the knowledge that I had, because I knew how to set that JDK thing up. I opened the Eclipse and everything from scratch, because I was doing all that for a long time. Then getting some Cucumber plugins and all of that. So it sounds easy now, but I know when you start doing something which you don't know, I still know there are kids and people who still are very scared to even set up Java, because it's so bulky and it crashes and this that. So it's all about your experience, and trust me when I say this, whatever you'll be learning in your entire journey, college or later, all of that will help you in some way or the other. And just don't forget it. And you won't forget it if you learn yourself, like I said, right? So
Right.
you'll be able to create something out of it, is how I see.
So I have a question. This comes from personal experience as well. Like, what if I ask you what is a framework? Like, I don't know what a framework is. So how would you define that for me? Like, what a framework is?
Okay, I'm probably like a Three Idiots wala run, so I don't like giving bookish replies or Wikipedia answers. But framework can be anything, right? Like I said, it's a house which was given to me, and I created more interior designing on top of it. So when you're given a problem to solve, be it a developer wala code or be it a automation, what I was doing wala code, you need to create certain structure to it, right? Like where my compiler goes, will it be runtime, where is my code going to go, what kind of a IDE I'm supposed to use, like a Eclipse or IntelliJ. So I think all of that really comprises to creating your framework, because you can obviously write your code probably in a notepad or a
Mhm.
Sublime text, who cares? But if you want to create sustenance, again, when you're putting things in Git, you can again Git or GitHub, you can do all the sorts of things. But you need to create a pom.xml file which is going to make things happen. You're supposed to add dependencies to it, so you need a structure for all of these things to happen, really. So in a very layman term, we call it framework. So when I say framework for automation, I say Java, Selenium, Cucumber is a framework that I created. Because how do I make something work? So when I say Java, Selenium, Cucumber, Java is my language. Selenium is the WebDriver concept, which will launch a website for me and start doing things which I automate. And Cucumber is something which we call for BDD, so behavior driven testing approach. So you write in normal English. So your feature file or gherkin, there's something that we call as feature file. So supposedly your scenario is, I want to automate the login of Facebook, for example. So you'll write all the steps of automating Facebook ka login in Cucumber, which will have its code in the back, written in Java and Selenium. So all of these different aspects, if you're creating your code on, you need something to bind, right?
Kind of,
Think
yeah.
of it like a dough which you want to uh, create
Right,
a
right.
roti out of, right? So you need
Yeah.
everything to come into picture, play and bind. So a framework is something which will hold all of them together, maintain their dependencies, and let you play and create what you want to create.
Yeah. Got it.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
That looks like an easy answer. Like I said,
That's
I
the
can't
best.
do it.
That's the best explanation I've ever heard for a
And
framework.
needed. That was needed, yeah.
Right there, yeah.
I don't know why people complicate it so much and make it sound like it's a thing which probably only SpaceX and Tesla guys can create and not us. So I like to keep things simple. So if this helps, I'm very happy.
Yeah, it does.
Yes. So moving on to our last question. Java has been one of the most popular programming, as you have only said. It is way used in the various frameworks as well. So it has been way popular for many years too. So can you tell us the Java experience and the industry applications which you have worked on apart from the framework?
I think Java is, I have my personal soft corner for it because it's the most I have worked on language. Like literally, I have worked on it the most. Yes, I do have to sometimes go to a Python or a Ruby and other languages, but still my heart and soul remains with Java. I may sound very old school again if I say this, but yeah, Java is something which people find it really hard. I think with respect to the setup constraints is what I feel, because it's not easy to set up and it just doesn't start running. But when it does a lot of thing at runtime, right? So I think Java, the way it was created, the way things have happened, I don't think so it's going anywhere. Yes, we are getting more and more new things to create ease with respect to coding and everything. I mean, now, like I said, when I was doing automation, most of the people were happy doing manual testing. So forget even about Java. Everybody was scared of Java for automation. But now it's like the need of an hour. You need something. So I think Java is the most commonly used language, which I saw for many, many years in automation also. And now we have come to a point or place in time where people are creating low code, no code. So it sounds like magic. Like if I don't create a code or low or no code, what's happening really? But again, there is something in the background which is creating all of that, right? Every language I think has its own curvature and an apex, like it will have a graph, but I don't think so any language will go anywhere until unless it's really really redundant. I think Java was and is here to stay for a pretty long time, in case you guys also have your soft corners for Java, is how I feel. Yes, there are many other languages in the market, but I don't think so Java is going anywhere. I mean, we used to have a joke, if अगर कोई पत्थर मारेंगे जावा डेवलपर्स को ढूंढने के लिए, तो कम से कम 10 लोगों के साथ पीछे पलटेंगे कि इतने सारे जावा डेवलपर्स थे, और आई थिंक अभी भी हैं, ऐसे नहीं है कि नहीं है.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting way to look up to it.
Even Shubhika is with Java, right? When I had an
Yeah.
option to choose between C++ and Java, and I chose Java. So even I have the kind of learning.
We both work for Java. Like we are just starting. Like
Really nice. That's
Yeah.
so amazing. It's good to know.
so yeah. So we have covered all the questions you have for you, and it was a really really great experience. And we have learned a lot from words, from experience, even from the mini stories you have shared with us. I really don't want to end this, but since we have the all questions covered, it's just feeling a emptiness and I have to live with it.
Oh my God, that is really very kind of you, Shubhika. But I genuinely feel whatever I've tried to share makes sense and helps you and others who we are doing this for. I have a question. If we can end it in such a way, because I genuinely want to ask you guys one question. I was never raised in a way where we are doing remote studying. How are you guys finding this atmosphere? How good, bad, or how is it? How is this experience for you, and how do you feel about it? Because I would have, I think you guys are doing a great job, because I couldn't have survived without going to my institution, right? A school or a college. I don't know how you kids are doing. So how are you managing this? Really?
So this is a question where we want everyone to ask this, because I think it's very much important. Everyone is really excited about their engineering thing. We hear so much about engineering, but we got only 6 months. So when we talk about remote learning, it's good because you get time. It's as per your need. जब आपको पढ़ना है, you can do that. It's all as per your time requirement, and you can adjust it. And you be anywhere, be at your friend's place or at some relative's place, you can do it from anywhere, right? You can just join some lectures and do it. But I believe that the actual learning which takes place is what has to be offline. I truly believe that. And I just miss everything, being with friends, being with teachers, and like, be it silly doubts or
Bunking
anything.
lectures, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
Actually,
even that
bunking
as well. Yeah. But if given a choice, I'd choose the offline one over the online one, I'd say, for sure.
Oh, I can totally understand. What about you, Shubhika? What do you think?
Okay, so what I feel, everything has its own pros and cons. So for the pros, I feel that it's up to us whenever, as Ashwara said, we can join, we can learn after it. It's on our pace and we don't feel overwhelmed, like we have to cover this much portion and in this particular time as well. We can have an all-nighter, we can even skip the day. It's up to us.
Yeah.
Uh, but as for the cons, and since the starting, it kind of affected our you can say mental strength. Like we have to stay at home. What about my college life? I had no college life. I'm in the girls' college. What will happen with me? I had nothing to do. But all of this, it just went like this. Like I haven't thought like जो मेरा पहला thought था कि क्या से क्या होगा और अभी I got so habitual that then I will prefer staying home rather than going out because I get so used to this routine that my brain will take time to get adjust. Like I have to go and travel, take train, then take to the station, and I have to go back. It's going to be tough at some time, but you have to get attached to it and get habitual to that as well. Thank you for watching. We hope this podcast helps our viewers.
You again for the next episode. Do like and follow CSI UMIT on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. And a very happy new year from CSI UMIT. Thank you.
Bye, guys.